Brothers, what's going on everybody? It's Civil here. Being a consistent part of the Madden community, I always hear every single day, whether it be on Twitter or someone messaging me, about how awful the game is this year. But I wanted to try to find out exactly what were the biggest gripes of the game, what consistent thing did people hate about the game, or just find annoying with the game. So I decided to make this tweet right here, just to be able to get immediate feedback from the community. And let's just say I wasn't really sure on replies. So I decided I want to make a video with a combination of the 5 most common replies I got to the tweet, but also a couple of the ideas that I felt like made the game just really frustrating. This is in no way meant to really bash EA or bash Madden as much as it is just to talk about things that just have to get improved going into Madden 21. But before we get into the video, make sure you guys do hit the like button and subscribe. We have a goal of 50 today. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Number 1 on the list, quarterback play. There's 2 major categories with this one. It's going to be quarterback windups, along with anything that makes a quarterback miss a throw, such as a pressure inaccurate, or right here, as you're going to see, a quick throw inaccurate, which is just so terrible for the game. Reason this is so bad for the game is that it starts to add randomness to playing offense and throwing the ball. If someone's sending 7 at me and I'm making quick reads, there's a good chance at some point throughout the game I'm going to throw a pick, not because I make a bad read, but because there's a pressure inaccurate or a quick throw inaccurate, and that's just something that's such a lack of skill gap in it. What it does, it allows bad players to hang in games with good players just due to the fact of just total randomness. Check out this clip right here against J-Wall. This was in the LCQ tournament just last week. This was the winner's bracket round 3, I believe, and I'm already down 7. It's 3rd and 13. I've already been stopped once, and right here I'm fighting. This is a big play. There's a good chance I'm gonna go for it on 4th down if I get any kind of yards right here, and you're gonna see me drop back and take a check down. I throw it to my out route. There's pressure coming in, and I just throw a pick 6. I made the right read. I should have gotten about 4 or 5 yards off that out route, and I throw pick 6 over something that I just can't really handle. I have no control over this at all, and essentially, even though I may have lost the game anyways, this ends the game and it's out of my control right here. When we talk about quarterback releases, I have Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford going against each other right here. It's the same play, and both balls are going to be released at the same time, or at least the button's going to be pushed at the same time. But notice the extreme difference in when the ball's actually released. We're going to super slow-mo here. You're going to be able to tell that Aaron Rodgers gets this ball out way faster than Stafford because of the huge difference in releases. Now, when it comes to Madden, and why this is important, is because when you're facing a blitz and someone's saying 7 at you, or even if someone just has a free rusher on you, this ability to get the ball off even a millisecond faster than another quarterback becomes huge. The difference between using Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford can literally be the difference of touchdowns, and it's not due to their ratings, but rather the fact that EA decided to give one of them a very good release and the other one a very poor release. The second thing we're going to talk about is awful pursuit angles of defenders. One of the biggest things that makes tackling somebody so hard in Madden 20 is that defenders that are AI controlled, which means 10 defenders every single play, seem to have almost no idea where the ball is going ever. They almost never really react to the ball carrier very well. They take terrible pursuits. You're gonna see that over and over again, where people are just not pursuing the ball carrier at all. And this is something that you learn at a JV level basically in football, is how to pursue somebody, how to take the correct angles to catch somebody. And you're gonna be able to see, just like in this clip right here, where defenders kind of take awful pursuits. You're gonna see he's able to spin around, and eventually he's able to cut all the way back up for a touchdown. And you're gonna see it right here as well, where a defender almost stops, and it's so easy to manipulate these AI defenders that it becomes easy for anybody to basically get sticky in this game. The other thing is that tackle radiuses are so low, unless you have secure tackler, that you could basically rub shoulders with people consistently and not actually animate on them, even if you're pressing A. And you can see right here, this is a great example of somebody getting a spin backwards and the defender's just not reacting to it, even though they're 15 yards off of it. They play just a terrible way, and it allows these broken runs to basically happen almost. Right here you see just an AI defender takes a terrible angle coming downhill after he runs into his offensive line, and he's able to get a huge gain for it, and able to get a touchdown. This is one of the biggest complaints of Madden 20, and this wasn't a huge deal in Madden 19, so this is something that just has to go basically, or else Madden 21 is just going to be another replica of this, where everyone's able to get sticky, everyone's able to break huge runs. It just cannot be a thing that stays in Madden 21. It's just one of those things that allows lower skilled players to be able to compete at a higher level due to the fact that it's so easy to do this. There's no difference between a pro player doing this and just a casual player doing it, because it is so easy to learn, it's so easy to do, and there's no real way to counter it because you can't user all 11 players on the defensive side of the field. So in order to make Madden 21 a better game from a competitive standpoint, it's just something that has to be worked on, has to be at least looked at from the game developers. The third thing on the list is going to be block sheds. One of the huge things that goes super untalked about, and while I might have some bias in this due to the fact that I do pass the ball, the lack of block sheds in this game is actually insane. I'm going to be showing some clips here in a moment where if you watch the offensive line, you're going to see not only do they not shed, the offensive line for the most part gains ground, gets a solid push on the lineman. It's damn near, if you don't have an ability like inside stuff or run stuff or like goal line stuff, if you're on the goal line, you're gonna get pushed back, especially in some of these heavier formations, regardless of defensive formation you come out in. Notice how here I'm in heavy panther. I'm gonna snap the ball. I'm literally gonna sit still where I get the snap, and no one's gonna come free. There's no sheds. The offensive line gets a huge push, and I'm able just to sit here and take my sweet time. Once again, I mean, it's about 3 seconds before I even have to move and worry about getting hit, and it's just something that it just is not good for the game overall. Once again, we do it again. Here you're going to see me doing a halfback dive. Once again, we're getting huge pushes on the offensive line. Not a single defensive lineman's even stalemating. Right here's a clip where you're going to see the entire defensive line get manhandled, get pushed back. This isn't the worst thing in the world if it wasn't for the fact that along on top of this, it's kind of combination factor with the last thing where pursuit angles and tackle radiuses are so small. We see this clip again where the entire offensive line makes sure there's no shed and the AI is unable to pursue. And once again, I want to reiterate the fact that it's not just a single issue that makes it so bad. Each individual issue isn't the worst thing in the world, but when you have small tackle radiuses and you have terrible pursuit and you have offensive lines, making sure that no one's shedding, that your defense just can't get off blocks, that's when things start to add up, and that's when things start to become very noticeable and becomes bad. We're going to the next topic. We're going to be getting away from gameplay and actually going into an issue that EA has been known for a while now. The fourth thing we're going to be talking about is going to be connection issues, especially the recent issues that have just been plaguing the Xbox servers. Now, if you've ever played Madden 20 online, there's a good chance that you've either seen this screen, or you've been stuck in a loading screen forever. Now, what's interesting is that these are actually legacy issues inside of Madden, and my understanding is that this is a big problem for EA as a company as a whole, in terms of all their games having server issues each and every year, and we have to go through every year where we go through disconnects, we go through just awful input lag, awful lag. Right now this year is really bad between West Coast and East Coast, but there's also something really interesting going on right now as of the past 2 weeks or so. This issue has been noticed by the entire community on the Xbox side, where when you push a button, you get such bad input delay that the button doesn't actually register for about a half second to a full second afterwards sometimes, and it's actually gotten to the point where Joke, one of the biggest names in Madden, made a tweet about it asking if other people had been experiencing this, and 58% of people said yes, they are experiencing this. So it's a very big deal, especially with the current LCQ finals coming up soon and Madden Bowl coming up soon as well, which are supposed to be played on Xbox. The input delay is an issue that, if left untouched, is going to affect people playing for thousands of dollars. And not only that, it's going to affect every single person who tries to boot up and play any kind of online games, whether it be Weekend League, online ranked head-to-head, or even Superstar KO. This is an issue that is going to affect everybody on Xbox for the time being until it's actually addressed, and the reasonings behind it, EA has not actually even came out and said yet. The final thing we have on the list is going to be the broken abilities. So let me say, first and foremost, I think adding abilities to Madden 20 and keeping them for Madden 21 is the right move. I think actually it made the game a lot more fun to play, and it makes it a lot more fun to watch. The issue right now is that while it does make these superstars feel like superstars, which was the goal, it feels as if even if you have a good player who just doesn't have abilities for whatever reason, say he's just a solid role player, it feels like they're just incapable of making a big impact on the field, even when their ratings are good. You can have someone who's rated higher than another player, but if that lower rated player has abilities, they will always be more valuable, which I feel like shouldn't always be the case. Another issue is that some of these abilities are just so overpowered, such as Moss, where people in Weekend League can start a game with Moss activated, and you can just throw a bomb regardless of how many people are actually covering him, and they will catch it in traffic regardless if there's 8 people there. It feels so poorly when you use an escape artist compared to using just a 90 speed quarterback without escape artist. Kyler Murray for a long portion in this year did not have escape artist, and he felt like he was a sloth when he was running, although slower speed quarterbacks who had the ability felt significantly faster. I think if they're able to rework a couple of those things that make abilities feel a little bit more balanced and make ratings matter a little bit more, especially in terms of speed behind the line of scrimmage and catching in traffic and stuff like that, I do believe that abilities will be really, really good in Madden 21 and help add a lot of diversity to the game and make it a whole lot more enjoyable. So that being said, everybody, that's going to wrap up the 5 most frustrating things in Madden 20. In my opinion, if you think I missed something, please let me know in the comment section below. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next time.